When I was growing up, my parents always said they treated both their children equally, but it never felt true. My younger brother, Aaron, was the golden child. If he failed a test, my parents blamed the teacher. If I brought home an A-, they asked why it wasn't an A-. I learned early that Aaron got understanding, and I got expectations. Still, I convinced myself that once we had our own families, things would finally balance out. Maybe when they had grandchildren, they'd see each child for who they were, and not who they preferred. But I was wrong. My kids, Emma and Noah, were invisible to them next to Aaron's daughters, Lily and Harper. It started subtly at first. When the holidays came, my kids always received smaller presents. If we visited, my mother's attention hovered on Aaron's girls like a spotlight, while mine sat unnoticed on the couch. I swallowed the disrespect for years because I believed family matters more than pride. But nothing prepared me for the moment the truth came out so bluntly that it felt like a punch in the stomach. It happened on a cold afternoon 3 weeks before Thanksgiving. I had stopped by my parents' house after work to pick up some old childhood photos for Emma's school project. When I walked in, Mom and Dad were at the kitchen table with Aaron and his wife. They didn't notice me right away, and I wished they hadn't noticed me at all. Because the words I heard shattered something inside me. My father said, in a calm voice, "We love your brother's children more. They're easier, sweeter, and honestly, we feel closer to them." My mother nodded. "And that's why we've decided this year we want a peaceful Thanksgiving. We don't want Emma's attitude or nose noise. So, they're not invited." I froze in the doorway. My hands went numb. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. Aaron looked uncomfortable but didn't say anything, not a word to defend us. My mother saw me then, and her eyes widened. "Daniel, we didn't mean for you to find out like this." I wanted to scream. I wanted to break something. Instead, my voice cracked as I asked, "So you're banning my kids from Thanksgiving? Your own grandchildren?" They exchanged a look, the kind parents use when they've already decided. Dad sighed as if I was being dramatic. "Daniel, don't make this hard. We just want a calm dinner. Your kids don't fit that energy." Emma was 11. Noah was 8. They were normal children, curious and expressive. Apparently, that was too much for my parents. I left the house shaking. I sat in my car for a long time, staring at the steering wheel, trying not to cry. When I finally drove home, I didn't know how I would tell my kids. They loved their grandparents. They had been excited about Thanksgiving, about helping Grandma bake her famous pecan pie, about playing board games with Grandpa. I paced the living room for 10 minutes before I could speak. Emma noticed first. "Dad, what's wrong?" I kneeled in front of them. "Grandma and Grandpa, they said they want a quiet Thanksgiving this year. They don't want you two to come." Emma blinked fast, trying not to cry. Noah asked, "Did we do something bad?" I hugged them so tightly they squeaked. "No, you did nothing wrong. Nothing." But inside me, a fire was lit. A slow burning, focused fire that had one message. They would regret hurting my children. For the next 2 days, I replayed every memory, every slight, every unfair comparison, every time they overlooked my kids. And then, something happened that pushed me over the edge. My parents posted a picture on Facebook, Aaron's family sitting at a fancy dinner table, plates already set, with the caption, "Can't wait for Thanksgiving with our favorite granddaughters." My stomach turned. My kids saw it. Emma went silent for the rest of the evening. Noah ripped his coloring page. That night I sat alone in the dark, thinking. And then, I remembered something my father once bragged about. He had put me and Aaron as equal beneficiaries in his will, but over the last few years, he secretly changed most of it so Aaron would inherit almost everything: the lake cabin, the retirement home investments, the farmland. He assumed I'd never fight it. I never did before, but this time wasn't about money. This was about my kids' dignity. Slowly, an idea formed. A very dangerous, very satisfying idea. I didn't want revenge that hurt anyone. I wanted revenge that taught them the lesson they refused to learn. Love is earned by heart, not by favoritism. I started making calls. To lawyers. To real estate agents. To a financial advisor I knew from work. And then, I pulled out a thick envelope my grandfather had given me when I turned 18, the envelope I never opened because he told me, "You'll know when it's time." Maybe, this was the time. And when I broke the seal and opened it, my entire future, and my plan, changed in one shocking moment. Inside the envelope was a handwritten letter and a small brass key. I stared at them for a long time before I could bring myself to unfold the letter. The paper was old but crisp, and my grandfather's handwriting, steady and sharp, pulled me straight back into childhood memories. He was the only person in my family who never compared me to Aaron, who saw me for who I was, not for who he wished I would be. My hands trembled slightly as I began reading. Daniel, if you are opening this, something has happened that made you finally see your worth. This key opens a safety deposit box at Westview Bank. Inside is everything you need to protect yourself and your future. Love is a gift, not a debt. Don't ever let anyone make you feel small. Grandpa. My heart hammered in my chest. A safety deposit box. Grandpa never mentioned anything like that. The next morning, after dropping my kids at school, I drove to Westview Bank. The manager verified my identity, then guided me to a private room. When she placed the deposit box in front of me, I hesitated. Whatever was inside had been waiting for me for more than a decade. I lifted the lid. Inside were 2 folders, a USB drive, a handwritten note, and several legal documents. The first folder contained property deeds, 3 of them. A fully paid-off suburban home, a parcel of land near the lake, and a commercial property in a growing neighborhood. All in my name, all transferred quietly before Grandpa passed away. The second folder contained financial statements. A trust fund, a large one, easily worth 7 figures. My throat tightened. Grandpa had left me a fortune far beyond what my parents and brother had been fighting over for years. The USB drive contained video messages, one for me, one for my children. And the last handwritten note said, "They will show their true colors one day. When they do, you must show yours." I closed the box and sat there for a long, still minute, breathing slowly. My parents had been rearranging their lives assuming Aaron would inherit everything. They treated him like royalty because they believed he was the future of the family legacy. Meanwhile, they treated me and my children like burdens. But little did they know, the real legacy wasn't his. I wasn't thinking revenge yet. But I was thinking justice. For 2 days, I kept everything secret while I organized paperwork and contacted Grandpa's old lawyer. I learned something shocking. My parents were planning to transfer the lake cabin into Aaron's name within the next few months. They had no idea Grandpa had already transferred another piece of lake property, larger and more valuable, to me. They also had no idea that the commercial property they assumed would one day belong to Aaron, was already mine. The more I uncovered, the more I realized Grandpa had known exactly what kind of family dynamics existed. He knew favoritism ran deep. He knew I was the quietly responsible one, the one who wouldn't misuse money or neglect property. And he knew my parents would push my children aside just like they had done to me. On the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, my parents sent a group family text with a detailed menu and pictures of the decorated table. I stared at my phone. Not a single mention of my kids. Not even an attempt at pretending they cared. Aaron sent me a separate text. "Hey man, sorry about the Thanksgiving thing. Dad and Mom just want calm vibes this year. You know how it is." I typed back, "No problem." And then deleted it. Instead I wrote, "You'll understand soon." That evening, while the kids slept, I opened Grandpa's video message. His face appeared on the screen, warm eyes, gentle smile. "Daniel," he said, "if you're watching this, I want you to know I trusted you because your heart is good. The family may not see your worth now, but life has a way of revealing the truth. Use what I left you wisely. And take care of your children. They deserve better than what you had." For the first time in days, I cried. The next morning, I took Emma and Noah out for breakfast and told them we were going to do something special for Thanksgiving. "We're going on a trip," I said. I didn't explain everything, but I told them the truth. Grandpa loved you both very much. And he left us something wonderful. Their smiles returned for the first time in days. While they finished their pancakes, I logged into the online portal for Grandpa's trust. Legally, I now had full control. I transferred funds to secure a new home, bigger, warmer, closer to good schools. I called a contractor to start renovating the lake property for future family vacations. And then, I asked the lawyer to schedule a meeting with my parents. He agreed, but with a small amused laugh. "This will be interesting," he said. On Thanksgiving morning, while my parents posted cheerful photos of Aaron's kids wearing matching dresses, we boarded a flight to Colorado. Snowy mountains. A cozy cabin. Our own Thanksgiving. Just the 3 of us. That evening, after the kids fell asleep, my phone buzzed. A message from my father. "We need to talk. Your lawyer contacted us." "What is this about?" "Property transfers." I smiled. For the first time in my life, I wasn't the forgotten son. I wasn't the tolerated brother. I was the one holding the truth. And they had no idea what was coming next. My parents insisted we meet the day after Thanksgiving. They sounded impatient, almost nervous. I agreed, but only after making sure Emma and Noah were settled with hot chocolate and a movie in our Colorado cabin. While snow fell softly outside, I opened my laptop and joined the video meeting with my parents, Aaron, and their attorney. My father's face appeared first, tight jaw, stiff shoulders. Then my mother, pretending to smile, and finally Aaron, looking confused. My father began without greeting me. Daniel, what is this nonsense your lawyer sent us? Something about Grandpa's properties not belonging to the estate. His tone was sharp, the tone of a man who had always believed he controlled everything. I leaned back in my chair, strangely calm. It's not nonsense. Grandpa transferred 3 properties to me before he passed away. All legally documented. Completely valid. My mother's eyes widened. What properties? The lake property, the commercial building on Maple Street, and the suburban house in Westwood. Aaron choked. Wait, those were supposed to go to Mom and Dad. And then eventually to you. I finished. Yes, I figured that's what you were told. My father leaned forward aggressively. Your grandfather would never have done that. Those properties were supposed to stay in the family line. They are staying in the family line, I said calmly. Just not in the way you expected. For a moment, no one spoke. Then my mother tried to regain control. Daniel, sweetheart, if this is true, perhaps we can discuss transferring them back. Your brother has a larger family, he needs. I couldn't help but laugh, not disrespectfully, but almost in disbelief. You banned my children from Thanksgiving because you said you loved Aaron's kids more. Now you want the properties I inherited because you think Aaron deserves them. My mother blinked. We didn't mean it like. You meant it exactly like that, I interrupted. Aaron, who had stayed quiet so far, finally said, Look, Dan, maybe we can figure something out. I mean, those properties practically belong to Dad. They should have gone to him. I felt something inside me harden. Aaron, you stood there silently when they said they didn't want my kids there. You let them hurt Emma and Noah. You let them think they were unwanted. And now you're worried about real estate. My father snapped, Do not turn this into a drama. You are blowing things out of proportion like always. That did it. Actually, I said slowly, this is the first time in my life I am handling things exactly the way they deserve to be handled. I pulled out Grandpa's second letter and placed it in front of the camera. Grandpa left this for all of you too. He predicted every bit of this. My parents stiffened. I began to read aloud. To my son and daughter-in-law, you have always valued image over love, order over kindness, and one child over the other. Life will expose what you have built your priorities on. My mother's hand flew to her mouth. My father looked like someone had slapped him. I continued, Daniel, you were never the lesser child. I saw your heart long before others saw your worth. This is why everything goes to you. I wanted to ensure that you and your children would never need validation or permission from anyone to feel loved. My mother whispered, He wrote that. Oh, there's more, I said, flipping the page. To Aaron, you grew up believing you were the star because that's how you were raised. But one day, you will realize that being favored is not the same as being worthy. I hope you learn to stand on your own character instead of borrowed praise. Aaron's face turned red. Finally, I read the last line, To the family, love all your children, or you will lose the ones who love you quietly. When I finished, silence filled the call. My father finally said, Daniel, surely we can talk this out. I shook my head. No, you showed my children they were second class. They will never forget that. And neither will I. My mother tried one last tactic. But we're family. Family doesn't ban children from holidays, I said. Family doesn't choose favorites. Family doesn't make someone feel disposable. I took a deep breath. I'm not fighting you. I'm not asking for an apology you don't mean. I'm just done. Done. Aaron repeated. Yes. Done letting you control what belongs to me. Done watching you hurt my kids. Done repeating a cycle that should have ended years ago. I looked directly at my parents. We won't be coming over for holidays anymore. You can have Thanksgiving with your favorite grandchildren. You made your choice. Now I'm making mine. My mother's face crumpled. Daniel, please. But I had already stood up. We are happy. We are healing. And Grandpa made sure we have everything we need. My father's voice shook with anger or fear. I still don't know. If you walk away, don't expect us to come running back. I nodded. I won't. I clicked. End call. The cabin was quiet except for the soft hum of the heater. Outside, snow continued to fall in thick, peaceful flakes. Emma walked out of the bedroom rubbing her eyes. Dad, everything okay? I lifted her into my arms. Everything's perfect. We're starting our own traditions. Our own holidays. Just us. She smiled sleepily. I like that. And as Noah came out and hugged my leg, I realized something powerful. Ending a toxic legacy is its own revenge. I wasn't the forgotten son anymore. I wasn't the unwanted parent. I wasn't the leftover branch of the family tree. I was the root of a new one. And it was stronger, kinder, and built on something my parents never truly understood.